All right, welcome to this episode of the Entrepreneur Insider Secrets podcast. Exciting to be able to spend time with you again today, talking about another topic related to your business building. Today, we're going to be talking about hosting in-person workshops to grow your business. This is a topic that is an important one. This is one that can be a real game changer for your business because we live in a world where everything seems to be online anymore, where we are always talking to people, and when we're talking to people it's on a Zoom call. When we are meeting with people, we're doing it. When we're communicating with people, we're sending them messages on our phones or via email, and so much of that is now how we communicate with one another as human beings, which in many ways offers up a tremendous amount of opportunities, because we can now communicate and connect with people that previously we just wouldn't see and we wouldn't do anything with. So it does open up a lot of things and give us a lot of opportunity, but in the same breath, it leaves us disconnected. It leaves us in a place where we do not feel like we really know people. We don't have authentic, real relationships with people when they're all online. That is just the truth of it. There are people out there who have tremendous followings on social media. They have large followings. They have all sorts of people that follow them on different platforms, and they look like they got all the things in the world, right? They look like they have all of the connections, all the contacts, all everything, and yet it's always only surface deep. None of those people truly know you. None of those people really understand you. They just follow you. They interact with what you post, and they only see the things that you post. So if you're one of those people who's good at putting on a smile and putting out your best face online, people are going to think you're always happy, when in reality maybe you may be struggling. You may be going through difficult times. So this is why so many people, especially after we went through times with COVID and everything like that we became more and more disconnected, and there was this hunger for connection amongst people, true, real connection. There's a hunger for engaging and interacting with people in such a way that they can feel like they're known again. They can feel seen. They can feel heard, and they can feel like they're actually engaged with another person in a conversation, in a real conversation, that we're standing face to face with someone. And this is where doing a live workshop in your business can really fill a strong need. It can really fill something that is missing in our world on so many levels. When we live in a world of media, connection is the thing that's sacrificed. So one of those things, and I will tell you this, as a person who has done a number of conferences, a number of workshops, a number of those types of things, I can assure you that this is a critical part of building strength in your business. Especially if you're a coach or a content creator, and you want to build a tribe of people who are engaged with what it is that you're doing, who feel like they're on the same mission, live events are a big, big tool to achieve that. Without question, there is no doubt about it. That getting people to a live event will create a community, because not only now are people just seeing other people on a call, they're sitting in a room with them, and they're socializing after the meeting, or they're getting together and having lunch or dinner together, and relationships get formed that wouldn't otherwise. And I know that when I was involved in mastermind groups, some of the greatest advances, some of the greatest moments that I had from that weren't the speakers, weren't the people that I listened to, weren't the sessions. It was the dinners. It was the times that I got to sit down with my peers and we talked, and we were real with each other, and we learned from each other, and we grew from each other. And so all of that, and what it also does is it builds culture. It builds culture in your business. It builds this sense of community. And so I can tell you so many times people bought programs in our business because they saw one of their friends buying it and they thought, well, if so and so is going to buy it and join it and be part of this, I want to do it with them. I want to be part of this with them. So we, if they're going to do it, I'm going to do it. And we would get a lot of people joining because they wanted to be part of the community. They wanted to be part of the group. And because they love the group, they love the community, they love the people, and they wanted to engage in that. They wanted to be part of that. And so they did what they had to do to stay in. And if that meant joining and buying our programs, that's what they did. And so all of these things are amazing because you're filling a need, that need for human connection, the need for belonging, that need to be part of something bigger than yourself. Especially if you have a business where you're out there and you're all on the same mission. It may be that everyone is out there and they all want to become published authors, or maybe they all want to start their own business, or maybe they all want to become successful artists. Whatever those things may be that everyone in the group is there pushing towards, when people become to engage together in a live setting, they start talking about each other's dreams. They start sharing each other's visions, and they feel like they're a part of a community. They feel like they're a part of something that is bigger than them. They feel like they're a part of something that is a movement, even if it's a small one. They're a part of a movement of people who know them, who are like them, who are all trying to do a similar type of thing. And as part of that, you as the leader of this group are positioned as the authority. You now get positioned as the person who's hosting and leading this movement and leading this workshop and leading these things, as you're the thought leader. You're the authority. So they're going to look to you with respect. They're going to look to you with anticipation of what you're going to share and what you're going to say. And it's a great way to build a business. It's a great way to grow your business. And so some of the things that are here obviously are very, very important. Too many times, in business, we sell something and we just focus on that transaction. We want to sell our course. Okay, we sold it and now we're done, and we never hear from that person again. And it happens. It absolutely happens. But here's the truth. The problem is that now you have to go out and get a new customer. And now the next time you want to sell, that person's gone, and now you have to start from scratch with a whole new person again. Whereas having things like workshops in your business, building that community, establishing those deeper ties and relationships, makes it significantly easier for you to sell. Because now you have people who are very warm. They're very, very dialed into what you're saying because you're the authority figure, and this is my community, and these are the people I want to run and hang with. And you are the authority figure. So we're all going to follow you. And if you offer a new thing, it's very easy to get sales. Once you have that community established, it is much more getting sales is much more easy because you have a warm set of leads sitting right in front of you in that room when they are there. So this is a great way. One of the best ways to do workshops is to invite them in for a reasonable cost. Obviously, depending on the type of event or type of workshop that you're running, these can be fairly inexpensive or more expensive, depending on how all in you are with the event and how much your costs are. But a frequent strategy for running a workshop is to even just do the workshop at cost, make enough from the workshop to break even from the expenses, from paying for the location, paying for all the materials, paying for if you bring in food, whatever, supplies and so forth that you bring in. If you could even just break even or a little better on that, and then at the end of the workshop, offer them the opportunity to take a next step at a more higher price, that's where you can make your money, and that's where you can make your sales. You can sell on an upgrade. You can get them there and have an amazing experience, help them to feel like they're part of that community, help them to feel like they belong, and then offer them a bigger opportunity, which is where you can actually make your profit, where you can actually make your money. So how do we do this? How if you were interested in doing this, how would you go about creating one of these things? How would you go about planning and promoting a successful workshop? Well, one of the first things you need to do is you need to make sure that when you plan your event, your workshop, or your little mini conference, or whatever it is that you want to call it, when you plan it, you need to make sure that you have a clear topic and a clear outcome for what your event is about. Okay. Anytime, I see an event, I look at it and go, okay, what will I get out of this if I attend? Why? Because all of us have limited time, right? Even if it's an online workshop, not let alone a workshop where I have to get in a car or get in a plane and travel to. And if I have to do that, I'm really asking the question, what am I going to get out of this? How will I grow? How will I learn? How will I benefit from attending this event? So when you plan your workshop, you need to have that very clear. You need to clearly show the benefit, whatever it is that your people are going to walk away with. So they have a clear understanding, like, wow, if I attend this event, I will walk out of here knowing how to do this. I will come out of here knowing how to do that. I will have the skill to do these things. It's going to be amazing. And so doing all these things, being able to get into that clear understanding is going to do you a world of good in marketing your workshop. I have seen too many times where I have seen people put on a conference and I looked at the agenda and it was just a mishmash of all sorts of different speakers, all sorts of different ideas, all sorts of different topics. And I'm just like, what does this even mean? What is the point of this? You just brought in a bunch of random speakers and they're all just speaking generally on the same topic, but there's no theme. I'm not walking out of here with any one clear advantage. I'm not walking out of here with a clear benefit. I just have a bunch of random people talking about a bunch of random things, all kind of related to the same subject matter. And so that's where the conferences immediately fall apart. When you do that type of thing, when there's not a clear outcome, where there's not a clear benefit, people fall off in a hurry and things fall apart very, very quickly. So here's where we have to really focus. And we have to understand that, we have to have that benefit. We have to have those things set up in such a way that there's a clear benefit, there's a clear outcome, there's a clear, great experience planned for them, that they're looking at this and they immediately see it. They can read the outcome. They can read the sales page for buying a ticket to this event, and they can go, I get it. I see exactly what it is that I will get. I will see how it will benefit from me. And that is important to me. That would be amazing. If I could walk out of here with that benefit, that would be amazing. That makes it so much easier to sell tickets. And then, balance the structure of your workshop to have teaching, to have networking, to have interactive elements. All of those are very important. No one wants to sit in a chair and listen to one person speak for 8 hours straight. It's too much. Break it up. Have some teaching time, have some time where they can apply and interact and work on things together, or maybe in groups. Have time for networking where they can meet other individuals and develop relationships. All of that needs to be part of it. And logistics matter. Having the right venue. Is this venue easy to get to? Is it a venue that people can get to without problems? Or is this in a remote place that there's no good, and there's no airport nearby? There's no easy way for people to get to this place. There's no, it's not something that they can go, I can get there easily. I can just buzz straight down there. It's easy. There's easy roads there. Okay. Is it, if you do that, if it's an easy to get to location, great. then that makes it even easier for them because you're removing barriers. And one of the barriers to doing a live event is the travel. And this is part of the challenge of doing workshops, in-person workshops, is that essentially you're making two sales. You're making the sale of do I want to attend the event? So you have that, and the sale of do I want to spend the money on travel? So you really have to make your event compelling. You really have to make the purpose and the logic and the reasoning behind the event very compelling, so that when people see it, not only the obstacle of paying for a ticket, but also the obstacle of airfare or several hours in the car and the time away from family and friends and taking time out of their schedule. Because it's not like when you do an online workshop, obviously I can spend an online workshop in an afternoon and then I go back about my life and I don't have to deal with anything else. No, with this, I take a day to travel to get down there. I spend a day at the workshop and I have to spend a day to travel to get home. So it's 3 days of my life gone. So you have the double sale that has to happen. They have to feel like this is really worth their time. And you got to make sure you have whatever it is that you need for them once they get there. If they need supplies, if you need good lighting, if you need cameras, if you need materials, if you need sound, whatever it may be, you need to, for your event, you need to make sure that you get all of that put up and everything is easily in place, that that whatever you're going to need could easily get to this location and be set up. You also need to make sure that it's very easy for people to buy tickets. You need a very simple order form on a web page on your website that just gives them a very simple process where they can go in and say, hey, the ticket price is $400 for this workshop, and I'm easy peasy. I can pay right here. I'll get a confirmation email that gives me the details, says thank you for your purchase, and everything that I need to know is right here, sent off to me, and I'm all good to go. And then once you get all the pieces in place, you get your logistics for the physical event in place, you get a simple way for people to sign up. Now we got to get the word out, right? We got to start promoting this. And this, if you have an email list, you should be emailing your list and notifying everyone on your list. And again, workshops are done well once you already have some clients. This is a great way. It can be hard to do a workshop if you don't yet have clients. It can be very difficult to get a workshop off the ground if you don't already have some existing clients that you've been working with, because of the fact that this is a double sale, that this is I have to pay for two things, and I don't really know you that well yet. I don't have a strong relationship with you, so I'm a little hesitant to commit. But if they've already worked with you, if they already know you, they already have a relationship with you, it's much easier for them to say yes. So, put out emails, post on social media, reach out to other people that you can form partnerships with. Maybe you know somebody that could be a partner for you for this event, and maybe they do have clients. Maybe they do have a following that's bigger than yours. You could partner with them and leverage their existing customer base, leverage their existing audience to pull in people for your workshop. Again, if you were going to do a workshop as the very first thing in your business, it's probably going to be tough to get it to be successful. But if you already have some clients, you've already got some people who have bought programs from you, people who have paid you to coach them, who are paid you to work with them and do other various services with them, it becomes much more of a workable situation. Then they're like, oh, okay. And there's going to be other clients of yours there. Yes. And we're all moving towards the same goal in the same direction. And, great. I want to be part of this. And it makes it much easier to sell. And then you're going to need to do some networking. You're just going to need to do some flat out, who do I know? And let me reach out to them and let them know about the event. Let them know about, the things that we're going to be doing, and you're going to have to do some hustle, especially in the early days of your business. There's going to have to be some just good old-fashioned hustle to try and talk to some people to see if you can convince them to come. And you can incentivize them by offering them some early bird pricing, giving them incentives like, hey, if you buy your tickets before this date, they're discounted to this much. Or you can, especially if you're doing a workshop, you can say there's only 10 seats or 25 seats to the workshop. So, that will, and we've already got, so many filled. So we would love for you to take one of the last seats. And that really helps to promote, helps push it forward. Then so again, a lot of that is just getting the word out, posting, networking with people, building those relationships, showing the value of what you're doing, showing that it's going to be easy to get to, showing this is going to be well worth their time. And it's a lot of hustle, and it's a lot of you're just networking and talking to people, especially in the early days. That's why I always encourage people. It's best if you have existing clients to work with, because you have a warm audience to sell them into this, and they're much more likely to say yes. Then once you get them there, how do you create a memorable experience? How do you make this something that's very, very valuable? And some of the things that we really need to do is you need to focus on connection and clarity and transformation, not just content. Again, I mentioned this earlier. I've seen events where it's just like a bunch of random speakers speaking about a bunch of topics, and you're like, this doesn't really make sense. This doesn't really all tie together. Your speakers, your things that are happening, the things that you're doing should all point in the same direction. It should all have the same outcome. It should all be linked to the same place. You should be looking at this as, how do I create that connection with them? How do I help them get clarity for what it is that they're trying to achieve? How do I help transform their lives and help that and make that transformation clear? And you can do that by having interactive times where you have a Q&A session with them. You can have hot seats where people get, especially if it's a small group, like 10 to 15, you can take turns, especially if it's a 2-day workshop where everyone gets a 30-minute hot seat, and they get to, have all the room help and focus and put attention on helping solve their problems and helping them grow into what it is that they're doing. Or you can have small group exercises where they really work on things together. And those are the things that are going to help generate that transformation. Because again, they're not there just to listen to a bunch of words. They're there because they want to transform their life. They want to grow. They want to achieve an outcome that they didn't have previously. And then once you're there, make sure that you're, getting some clips. You're getting some video. You're getting some photos. You're getting some memories from the events, that when you want to market one of these again in the future, you have some content that you can use to promote the next one and to do that and gather feedback. If you have some people that are like, this was amazing, this was such a tremendous experience, I loved it, it is just fantastic, I would do this again, absolutely, capture that testimonial and use it for the next one and use it for promoting future workshops. And then after the event is over, again, offer them the opportunity to take a next step and follow up with them, send them emails, let them know how great it was to spend the time with them, give them opportunities to take a next step with you, give them an opportunity to hire you as a coach, give them the opportunity to work with you, give them the opportunity to do things with you, and to keep that relationship going and to keep building it. Because so much about doing a workshop is about building that relationship. It's about deepening that connection. And when these people get to hear you, they get to know you, they get to meet you, they get to spend time with you, they're going to be much more likely to say yes, because they're like, wow, this person's amazing. They really know what they're doing. They're really good at this. They have a lot of skill in this, and they can help me. They can make a huge difference in my life. And if I worked with them one-on-one in a coaching relationship, man, that would be that would be amazing. So let's just wrap this up quickly by saying in-person workshops are more than just events. They're growth engines. They are culture builders. They are community builders. Trust me, we've done this so many times where, we started off with a conference and we had a handful of people that came to the first ones. It wasn't very big. By the time we were done, we had 500 plus people attending our conference coming from all over the world. We had people coming from Australia, New Zealand, Israel, South Africa, UK, Ireland. We had people flying in all over Canada, all over the US. Why? Because they wanted to be part of the community. They wanted to be part of the event. They wanted to be a part of the experience because they felt connected, because they liked being a part of our tribe. They liked being a part of our group. And then while they're there, we offered them the next opportunity. And we had many, many, many of them saying yes because they wanted to continue that feeling. They wanted to continue that connection by being engaged and involved in a program with other people. So show up to these events, serve powerfully, be strategic, know why you're doing it, know how you're doing it. And what you can do is you can turn these workshops into deep connections. And those deep connections can turn into subsequent sales upon sales. Our entire mastermind that we ran, the thing that we ran for many, many years, which was a $10,000 a year program, we filled that every single year at our annual conference. We didn't do any marketing, any advertising outside of what we normally, at all. We never spent $1 on advertising. Everything we did for that was we gave them an amazing experience at the conference. And then we turned around and offered them, would you like to have a more close relationship with us through our firing mastermind? And when we did that, we had that thing full. In fact, we ended up even doing 2 mastermind groups because so many people want to be a part of it. And it was $10,000 per person per year. So even though we weren't making money on the conference, we turned that into making money on the coaching that followed. So these are amazing ways that you can use a workshop to grow your network, to build your business, to deepen the connections, to strengthen the existing relationships that you have with your current clients, because that is extremely important. When you get a client, the worst thing that could happen is for them to buy once and then to leave and never come back. The best thing that could happen is for you to get a client, have them engage with you, have them love what you're doing and love working with you, and then to continue to buy from you again and again and again. Not only does that save on expense and hassle and work because you don't have to keep looking for new clients, but it builds an amazing community and an amazing business. It builds relationships in such a way that people will continue to grow, will continue to build, and will continue to buy. So these are incredibly powerful strategies to use and why workshops are so powerful in building your business. I encourage you, if you've already got some clients and you've already got some momentum going, to consider thinking about this, because this can be a very, very powerful way to build some really strong relationships with your clients and to grow your business. So if you'd like help building this out, check out designlaunchgrow.com. We are specialists in helping people build businesses just like this. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you again very soon.